So really, there's not 7, there's 9 hermetic principles, but let's go through it briefly. The principle of mentalism, all is mind. The universe is mental, held in the mind of the all. The principle of correspondence, everything corresponds to something else. Everything on this plane corresponds to something on another plane or on another dimension. You can use one against the other. The principle of polarity, yeah? We're in a universe of polarity, so you have polar opposites like fast and slow, up and down, hot and cold. That's polarity. The principle of rhythm, everything has a rhythm. If you follow the rhythm of everything, even like the tide has a rhythm of in and out, just like the breath does when you're breathing. Polarity. The principle of vibration, everything vibrates, nothing rests. Even the atom is in vibration. The principle of cause and effect. Every cause has an effect and every effect has a cause, the law of causation. And the first cause comes before action, reaction, cause and effects. The first cause. The principle of gender. Everything has gender. Even atoms and electrons and neutrons and protons have gender. Yeah? Female and male, or masculine and feminine. So the Kybalion is the wisdom of the god Jehuti, who is called Thoth, or called Hermes Trismegistus in the Greek classical writings, yeah? So the Kybalion is the ultimate mental science. And like I said, it's not just 7 laws, it's actually 9 laws. It's not just 7 chakras, it's actually 9 chakras. It's not just 7 dimensions, it's actually 9 dimensions. And if you're a 9 ether being, then that applies to you. Most people only dealing with the 7 because that's the 7 that the Greeks found and changed into their version of the Kybalion. Okay, something that you should study for yourself if you find that you're being called to that type of study. Like I said, it's the ultimate mental science of the ancient alchemists and the hermeticists, yeah? Those were the ones who could turn lead into gold and turn a lower state of mind into a higher state of mind and perform what we're calling miracles. The word miracle comes from the word mir, which is the Egyptian word for pyramid. So when other people came into Africa, the Nile Valley, and seen us performing certain mysteries and certain sciences, to them it was a miracle. So they called it after the pyramids, where they seen these pyramid sciences or these ancient mystery sciences, and that's where the word miracle comes from, the word mir as one pyramid, or the word mirat as a set of pyramids, okay? So yeah, the Kybalion is one of my favorite areas of study, and never get tired of going into Kybalion and studying the principles, because you've got to remember, we have our own spiritual identity and culture, which is complete with a moral code of conduct. Us Mennonites, or black people, Africans, and that's what was taken away from us when they took us away from our teachings and replaced it with all these Abrahamic myths, because they're really the myths, the Abrahamic myths. When you go back into the Kybalion and the Corpus Hermetica, which is over 36,000 writings written by the god of knowledge, Tehuti, the black god in the Nile Valley, who most people will refer to as Hermes Trismegistus, okay? So the 2 more laws of the Kybalion is the principle of breathing. Everything breathes, okay? Everything in creation breathes. Even your skin needs to breathe. Even the earth breathes. So it's not the same circumference all the time, because it expands and contracts, sorry, okay? So the principle of breathing, everything breathes, yeah? And then the 9th principle is the principle of growth. Everything must grow. Nothing is just formed in its penultimate state, in its most strong state. It must grow from a weak state and grow into a stronger state. And then once it's peaked, it starts going back down, reversing to the weaker state. Everything must grow, okay? Nothing comes just as it is. Like Adam and Eve wasn't created as big humans, as religion would like you to believe. Everything must grow from its weakest state to its strongest state and back down to a weaker state. Do you get me? And those are the 9 laws. Those are the 2 extra principles, or laws, if you want to call them laws, that go with the Kybalion. The Greeks only studied 7. If you check most non-Africans, their special number is 7 because they're not 9 either beings. So they will only study the 7 chakras when there's 9. They'll only study the 7 laws of the Kybalion when there's actually 9. They'll only study really 7 dimensions when there's actually 9. We are 9 ether beings, the full electromagnetic beings from the sun, okay? That's why we call soul people or solar people, sun people. So there's a little brief for you on the Kybalion. Research it for yourself. Mafia for life.